Recently, there has been a lot of hype in the media about this new proposed oil sands mine called Teck Frontier. Now, some of that hype has been good, some of it has been bad, but the bulk of it has me so frustrated, it's unbelievable. What is Teck? Well, it's a proposed oil sands mine located between Fort McMurray and Fort Chipewyan, which will include surface mining, a processing plant, tailings management facilities, water management facilities, etc. It has the potential to produce 260,000 barrels of crude oil per day, increase Alberta's GDP by $12 billion, and has even pledged net zero emissions by 2050. Teck has the support and agreements in place with all neighboring First Nations communities. This $20 billion project has been in the regulatory review process for the last 10 years, which it passed last July, where the panel deemed that this project is in the public's best interest. This project has the potential to create 7,000 jobs during construction and another 2,500 jobs once it's operational. But if you thought all that and a resounding yes from the regulatory review panel was a guaranteed green light, you'd be wrong. Alberta and Teck still needs the thumbs up from the energy-hostile Trudeau Liberals, and so far they are holding that thumb mid-air like a Roman emperor deciding the fate of a gladiator he doesn't like. This is where Trudeau's favorite new general steps in. Minister of the Environment Jonathan Wilkinson wants to play hardball, and he has the power to veto and kill this project outright. But rather than looking at the logic, the economic interests, and plain old facts, he's looking to pander to leftist environmentalist rhetoric. Wilkinson's using the argument that this project would make it difficult for Canada to hit its emissions targets, and then makes the bold accusation that Alberta isn't doing enough to tackle climate change. Then he uses the Alberta fight against the carbon tax as an example. The thing is Wilkinson is blatantly turning a blind eye to Alberta's environmental policies, where we have an overall emissions cap on heavy emitters and our own carbon tax of $30 per ton on those heavy emitters through the TIER program, a program that Trudeau approved of. It almost looks as if the Liberal argument on Alberta's climate policy has nothing to do with their decision for the approval of this project. The Liberals are mad that Alberta would dare fight their carbon tax in federal court. They are mad at us, plain and simple. They are so mad that they are willing to hold our economy and our resources hostage. For one, Trudeau and Wilkinson have absolutely no business making climate policy demands on any province in return for project approvals. Two, this is extortion, plain and simple. If Alberta doesn't toe the Liberal climate line and just give in to their every demand, the feds are going to hit us where it hurts. The thing is, what more can we give these energy-hostile Liberals? The project has gone through the regulatory process. It's crossed the T's and dotted the I's. It's already been approved months ago. But now they're dangling that final approval over us like a carrot and changing the rules just to suit their agenda. And that agenda is getting very clear to see. They want to squeeze us and then hit us where it hurts as punishment for standing up for ourselves and to retain as much power over us as possible. But what exactly will happen if the Trudeau Liberals reject Teck? Well, there already is a national unity crisis, and we all know Trudeau's endgame is to phase us out. Or is it to completely push Alberta out of the country altogether? Saying no to Teck will simply add fuel to the fire. Do you imagine if Trudeau pulled this garbage on Quebec? And you really have to imagine, because we all know the Liberals would never dream of pulling a stunt like this on their most beloved province. Another thing to note is, what kind of message does this send to potential and current investors? So you can go through the entire regulatory review process for a decade, get the support of every single First Nation community in the area, jump through every single hoop, and you still won't be good enough to get the green light. If I was an investor, I would be very leery of not just that, but the fact that our own federal government will flip-flop and change the rules mid-game just so they can have an excuse to say no. It doesn't give any investor any amount of confidence of doing business here in Canada. In Alberta, the political runaround is so disrespectful to not just our province as a whole, but to every single penny we have contributed to Confederation. But like that penny, the Liberals seem to think it's fine to just get rid of us. Saying no to Teck is not just saying no to Alberta, it's saying no to any future potential projects that could come our way. It will also completely prove without a doubt, with no wishy-washy Liberal charm, that a Trudeau Ottawa does not want Alberta in Canada. We're not asking for much in all reality. All we're asking for is for the federal government to get out of our way, let us develop our resources, and to back the hell off. So do I think Trudeau will reject Teck? Unfortunately and unsurprisingly, I think he will. And the reason I think that is because of that lovely little aid package announcement. If the Trudeau Liberals were preparing to say yes to Teck, why would they have to prepare an aid package? A source inside the Trudeau camp said that rejecting Teck without providing something in return would be political suicide, and that Trudeau is worried about national unity. But Alberta does not want a consolation prize. We want a fair deal. We want job opportunities. We want the Liberals to get out of our way and let us get back to work. What does Trudeau think will happen if he rejects tech and gives us an aid package instead? That's like telling Albertans, sorry, not sorry, here's welfare instead of jobs. It would be an incredibly stupid move on his part. Read about national unity? Then put your money where your mouth is and show Albertans that you actually care about us, like you said in your election speech. Let us develop our resources. Let us build up our economy and our communities with good old-fashioned hard work. We don't want handouts. We want to build ourselves up. The UCP have made it very clear that an aid package we've already paid for ourselves will not be welcome, and the fact that the Liberals think that this is an adequate substitute for a project approval is disgusting. It's adding insult to injury, and like Rex Murphy said, it's loading the water bombers sent out to curb the flames of separation with kerosene. It's time Alberta got tough with Trudeau and stayed tough. When you're backed into a corner, you either cower down or you fight for yourself, and it's high time that Trudeau learned that Albertans never cowered, and we will always stand up and fight.